Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking out this video. Got a really fun 1v1 game for you. My players have always loved this. And by the way, one of the benefits of it is conditioning as well, even though it's in a small space because it's a very high intensity game. So you kind of get that aspect as well without the players really knowing it. This is 1v1 in a really small area. So again, this is not to scale. At most you would play this in a 10 by 10 or a 10 by 8. You can go 8 by 6, 6 by 6. So you can actually um go pretty small with this. I think 10 by 8, 8 by 6 are really good dimensions. The rules are really simple. It's straight up 1v1 to goal. You play to 3, and the kicker is a nutmeg is worth 3. So a nutmeg automatically ends the game. You can be down 2-0, and you just simply have to pull off nutmeg, and boom, you win the game. And what I like to do, and again, especially with it being in such a small space, is they don't have to actually keep possession after the nutmeg, because the whole idea is to encourage the creative thought process and encourage them to try things they wouldn't otherwise try. So they're much more likely to try and sneak in a nutmeg if they know they only have to get the ball between the defender's legs and not necessarily keep it. But this gets them also focused on the body fakes and the ball fakes and the deception that gets a defender to lean and maybe and move a leg that opens up the space for them to try the nutmeg, which is the whole point of the game. Okay, so it gets them thinking about that creativity aspect. Also, although I haven't shown here and you can do it, I don't actually like using my little pug goals for this, especially since I usually have a number of games going on at once. I actually use a single disc cone. Now, of course, you have to have enough balls to do this because that means you need 3 soccer balls per game. But if you have all your players bringing them and you've got some yourself, you can do it. But so I like to set a ball on a disc cone, and then you score by knocking the ball off the cone. So again, it's yeah, you're gonna get a little, probably a little closer, but it also promotes again accuracy of your finishing and your passing. So that's important as well. So you just, when you add that element of the nutmeg being worth 3 and a nutmeg ends the game at any time, you open things up for your players who, most of, from what I've seen with American youth soccer, are absolutely terrified of being creative. And we need to completely reverse that. We have to start encouraging creativity and risk taking in our players. I mean, I've had players who talk about how they'd much rather be the defender in a 1v1 situation. That's just crazy to me. And that's all about what we have adults have done to these younger players. It's kind of infuriating. This is also done in a small area. Again, it's about controlling the ball, creativity, unbalancing a defender with fakes and deception, that explosive first step, and things like that. Trying to get them to move their legs so you can get that nutmeg, get them unbalanced, or getting them unbalanced so you can finish off with a goal. And by having a ball and a cone, you're really working on the accuracy of finishing and passing, because you're never going to have the room really to dribble completely by a player, which is perfectly fine. So one of the things I also really like to do with this, because it is a game that can be played in such a small space, is I have multiple games going on at the same time. So I set up multiple, fields or pitches, and then play promotion and relegation. So you can name the fields for the leagues or whatever, because if you can do this, and if you're doing this in an 8 by 8, or 8 by 6 or 6 by 6, you can get a lot of fields. And since there's not a lot of big kicking, you don't need a lot of space between the fields. Like, no one's going to get whacked in the head by an errant ball from the field next to them. So, and then you just name the fields. right? You might have the Premier League and the Bundesliga and La Liga and Serie A and MLS or things like that. And then you have them play, and then winners move up and losers move down. And the idea is to get to that top league and stay there. So anyway, I've rattled on enough. Hopefully you like this idea. Oh, I think I have a old video. I'll link to it on my player channel that just shows some girls who went out for some extra training, and we finished up with this for a little bit. There are only three of them there, so we actually kind of did it as a line. So two played basically one goal, and they kept switching, which just telling you that now. So when you see it, you understand why it looks a little different than here. But this is one where I do it as a game. I don't have lines at all. You just match up two players and go and play multiple fields. And it's okay if you have, enough fields for 10 players and you've got 12 players, you can have the other two doing something else because games can end quickly and you can just rotate them on and off, and it can be pretty intense. So they may want that brief rest period. But hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out with YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have questions, hit me up in the comments below, and I will talk to you later.